Good morning, Your Excellencies, my fellow teachers, Teresians, and everyone who is with us today in this very special event. I am Miss Anne, and it is my pleasure to be your MC for the 2020 annual celebration of National Reading Day. On behalf of the Lorenzo Torres High School English Department, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Today, November 27, is a much-awaited day in line with the nationwide celebration of National Reading Month with its theme, A Bridge in Crossing the Path in the New Normal. This event is an annual event aimed to promote love for reading and to celebrate the diversity and culture through reading. This marvelous event is spearheaded by our very own school principal Maria Pura Estalatad with the guidance of our Grade 8 Curriculum Chair and English Department Head Mrs. Marichu J. Hernandez, English teachers, and students. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of our beloved School Division Superintendent Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim, together with our Education Program Supervisor Mr. Vicente Victorio Jr., our Public School District Supervisor Dr. Maria Teresa M. Chico, and everyone who is with us today. To begin this program, may I present to you Ms. Katrina A. Sanchez for the uplifting of the national spirit, followed by Ms. Maria Katrina Dominic T.J. S. Tuwasan for acknowledging the presence of the Lord.
Please stand for the singing of our national anthem. Bayang Magiliw, ready, sing.
Bayang Magiliw, pinagkasinatanan, alam ng puso sa nagtipo'y buhay. Lupang hinilang, tulad ka ng mag-iisip, sa manlulupin, di mo masisiyo. Sa nagkakatula, sa simulan, sa langit ang mga, sa nagkakatula at tawid sa pagkalinaan. Ang isang ng walang ako'y tagumpay na nalilig. Ang ikuling katamang na kailan ang may magtilig. Luwan ang araw ng palay ang sila ay langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na may makakit ang matay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let's bow our heads and place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for gathering all of us today in this important event. May you bestow your guidance and blessing on this event so that we can enjoy and appreciate its significance in our lives. Bless everyone present today, that each may be able to share what she or he has for your glory and honor. Grant good health and safety to loved ones left at home, and peace and goodwill to all men. May the various activities related to this event be a success through your intervention. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Experts said that reading makes you a better thinker, a better communicator, and a better leader. They said that a leader is one who likes the path to the impossible and take those who follow to great heights. So why don't we officially begin this program with a welcoming message from one of the greatest and strongest leaders here in Florentino Torres High School. She is a woman of power, a woman of positive influence, and a woman of meaning. Everyone, please welcome our Grade 8 Curriculum Chair and English Department Head, Mrs. Marichu J. Hernandez.
To our Principal, Maria Pura Estalatad. To our Education Program Supervisor, Vicente M. Victorio Jr. To our Public Schools District Supervisor, Dr. Maria Teresa M. Chico. Fellow head teachers, administrative officer, non-teaching staff, teachers, parents, students, and friends. Good day. Let me quote a line from Ulysses by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Made weak by time and faith, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Amidst adversities in education, we still choose to move forward, opt to celebrate, and decide to champion life in general. We do not easily yield to nature and human-inflicted harm, like the destructive typhoons and the killer COVID-19 we have just and are experiencing right now. The drive, the eagerness, and the will make us more of a valiant character in stories where success, no matter what, will just be around the corner. These, my dear students of English, are just some of the inspiring truths you will get from reading historic literary pieces written by prolific writers, poets, and essayists then and now. They too, during their time, have had stories unfolded in the books they wrote for us to enjoy and to share. Therefore, we at the English Department shall continue to bring you these worthwhile reads, which will teach you to be resilient, notable to us Filipinos. In this new normal, blended learning, online and modular, poses a very challenging task. However, we at Florentino Torres High School firmly believe that our school composes of committed and devoted faculty members and team leaders headed by our principal, Mrs. Maria Pura Estalatad, who shall guide us through in this difficult time. And now, as we celebrate the English Month with the theme, Optimizing English Competence through Reading and Literature in the New Normal, I enjoin everybody to take part in the different events, contests, and activities we have prepared for you virtually. Making things possible may not be easy, but enjoying the fruits of hard-earned efforts is much, much more rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hernandez, for that wonderful welcoming message. Our next speaker is also a natural-born leader. She is indeed a woman of power and a woman of all seasons, admired and respected by people of all walks of life. And to express her wisdom and valuable inputs, everyone, may I present to you our spectacular and lovely school principal, Mrs. Maria Pura Estalatad.
To our ever-supportive Education Program Supervisor, Mr. Vicente Victorio, to our dynamic PSTS, Dr. Maria Teresa Chico, to our hard-working English Department, headed by Mrs. Marichu Hernandez, my dear Teresians, a pleasant day to all of us. First of all, I would like to congratulate the English Department for coming out with this virtual celebration of the English Month with the theme, Optimizing English Competence in the New Normal through Reading and Literature. As if there's no pandemic, the English Department has prepared a lot of interesting activities for you students, together with your family. Yes, that's the secret of becoming fluent and competent in the English language. The family members count a lot. Learning the English language is as easy as the other subjects. If only the father, the mother, and all the children speak the language at home. How? very simple. The parents lead the children in reading the newspaper, reading a magazine, reading a journal, and reading a book. Most children now read their Facebook, but more importantly, they should face a book, then read. When all the members of the family make reading their hobby, they become more competent and effective in the English language, be it oral or written. Take, for example, our grade 10 student, John Louis Atienza. In short, Jolo. He won in the spoken word poetry contest of the National Civil Defense last July. During the World Teachers' Day, he dedicated another spoken word poetry entitled An Angel Sent to Me. The two poems that he wrote are examples of literary pieces that were admired by
Thank you, Ma'am Talatad, for that very inspiring message and valuable insights. Now, our next speaker is also an epitome of a great leader. His affable nature puts everyone at ease, and his very presence sends out positive energy. He is a symbol of simplicity and greatness. May I present to you our Public School Education Program Supervisor, Mr. Vicente Victorio Jr.
Good day, everyone. I am so glad and delighted that in spite of the pandemic or the new normal education, you were able to initiate this endeavor. Although this time it will be held not on stage nor with a lot of audience, but online or virtually. Indeed, November is for English Literary Celebration. Who could ever forget all your remarkable performances, delivering oratorical and other literary pieces, competing in reading proficiency and spelling face-to-face, joining slogan and poster-making contests, interpreting Broadway songs with colorful costumes and awesome props and choreographies, and the very crowd-drawer choric interpretation with all those black dress and makeup plus acrobats. and not to mention the much-awaited character parade, which only English department can organize in our most unique but sophisticated, refined, astonishing, or amazing ways. I know that although this contest will be carried out virtually, I'm sure everything will remain noteworthy or remarkable because you'll do it in the so-called the English way. Aria, English learners! Hooray, English teachers! Bravo, principals and head teachers! Good luck everyone, and my advance congratulations to all the victorious winners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sir Victorio, for that inspiring message. Now, it is my pleasure to finally introduce our next speaker, who is going to give us another fruitful message that will surely inspire us. She is a woman whose vision commands perfection, and a woman of strong faith and virtue. Everyone, may I present to you our Public School District Supervisor, Dr. Maria Teresa M. Chico.
To our school's Division Superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim, our 4 Assistant Schools Division Superintendents, Mr. Pedro Arao, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan, Dr. Cynthia Ailes, and Dr. Melody Cruz, to Mrs. Maria Pura Estalata, School Head of Florentino Torres High School, the department heads, officers in charge, master teachers, and to my dear Torresians, a blessed day to all of us. Today a reader, tomorrow a leader, is indeed a suitable slogan that each Torresian must bear in mind and put into practice. With the situation that we are facing, reading and understanding the pieces of writing that are valued as work of art, especially novels, plays, and poems, which are collective writings of a nation, people, group, or culture, should be carried on. To the most effective use of the situation, this new normal, the opportunity and the sources that go with it, whether doing it online or offline, the individual and collective knowledge, skills, and attitudes of the learners can be developed to the fullest. For this is the time that the teacher's creativity using information and communication technology will be able to better hone the learners and produce outputs that made use of their critical thinking and communication skills, taking the initiative to compose, write new pieces of literature, to express artistic representations of life in the new normal, filled with varied human experiences in different forms of expressions. Thus, we envision learners who are more engaged. Performance levels will rise and communication will definitely improve. Hence, the road to molding our Torresian leaders. So congratulations to the entire English department headed by Mrs. Marichu J. Hernandez for creating the opportunities for our students to optimize English competence in the new normal through reading and literature. Keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am Chico, for the inspiring insights. Those messages are really motivating. But of course, that was just the beginning. Now let's proceed to the highlights of this event. We have lined up fun and engaging activities that you will surely enjoy and encourage our young readers. To show you what I mean and to give us an overview of the activities, may I present to you our Grade 7 English Coordinator, Mrs. Mary Ann L. Ambat.
Mabuhay! The Department of Education has declared years ago November as National Reading Month as part of the agency's move to promote its Every Child a Reader program and to support the 10-point education agenda of the recent administration. With this, DepEd has proposed a series of activities to celebrate the National Reading Month. These include Readathon, Drop Everything and Read, Shared Reading, Intensified Remedial Reading, and the like. In line with DepEd's appeal to promote quality reading among the students, the English Department of Laurentino Torres High School has come up with a highly unique way of inculcating the love for reading in the new normal setting within the comfort of each family's home. One Story, One Home interactive reading is an activity designed in line with the National Reading Day celebration. This activity aims to exhibit how learners use reading as a tool to cope with the changes brought about by the new normal setting. Every family, which will represent each grade level, will read the story together. They will share their thoughts about it and values they have learned from it. The most important thing that each participant must ponder on is that how reading helps strengthen their relationship as a family. Let's get ready to explore the different avenues of reading as we engage in the One Story, One Home interactive reading activity.
Thank you, Ma'am Ambat. Wow, those activities are really interesting. And to give us the guidelines of the said activities, may I present to you our Grade 8 English teacher, Miss Christine L. Torres.
Number 1. Selected students from different grade levels, together with their family members, participate in the reading activity. Number 2. The following stories were pre-assigned to the participants. For Grade 7, Courage by Bienvenido Santos. For Grade 8, The Story of the Aged Mother by Matsuo Basho. For Grade 9, The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. And lastly, for Grade 10, 3 Letters from Teddy by Elizabeth Silence Ballard. Number 3. After reading the story, each participating family prepares a short introduction about themselves and why they decided to be part of the activity. Number 4. Each family shares their insights, comments, and feedbacks about the story they have read. Number 5. After which, family members will be interviewed by the assigned English teachers. Questions relevant to the story assigned to each participating family will be asked. At this point, family members will be allowed to speak in Filipino if they opt to do so. Number 6. The video presentation of each participating family should be limited to 8 minutes. Lastly, the participating family must upload their video presentations in Google Drive folder created by the teachers in charge. Let's take a look at how each family responded to the activity. Here's Ma'am Katrina Niban to introduce them.
And to introduce our participating families for this activity, may I present to you one of our Grade 7 English teachers, Miss Kathleen B. Aniban.
Good day, Torresians! Welcome to One Story, One Home, an interactive reading activity. This activity is really interesting and engaging. Today, we will show you video presentation of the selected students from each grade level together with their family members. So what are we waiting for? Let's have the first presentation. The first video presentation is from John Carl Villar from Grade 7 Macajos.
Hi Torresians, I'm John Kyle DJ Villar from grade 7 Macajos. As you know, we are suffering from the midst of this pandemic. This pandemic can cause economic damage. Some lost their jobs. Some individuals, especially the young ones, experience symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stress. The saddest part of this is the high increase of mortality. As a teenager, I just thought of the positive effect of this pandemic. This quarantine gave us more time to bond with my family. We spent some of our time in reading. Fun fact, did you know that reading has a psychological benefit? According to studies, in 30 minutes, reading can help to lower one's heart rate and blood pressure, as well as reducing psychological distress. So what are you waiting for? Let's read. Ate Jazz, have you read the story about the courage?
Yes, I have and I liked it. How about you,
I also liked it. How about you, Jacob and Lawrence? Do you know about the story?
Not yet po.
Do you want me to read the story?
Yes, please.
There was a new teacher named Mr. Arsenio N. Torres. He was not liked by his advisory class section 8. He was the kind of teacher who was quiet, distant, and never smiled. Kind of like a grumpy teacher. When he said to the students that they looked intelligent but that remains to be proved, the students took it like a quest or challenge. They had excellent performance in routine and about the lessons but remains unacknowledged. The student did not know about their teacher was different from other teachers. He mastered these lessons and knew by heart. But still showed no passion. It was like narrating but lacked vivacity. He was too impersonal to aloof, like a god who was bright to walk on mornings.
There are many days the teacher was absent, but they never bothered to ask. They sometimes wished he would stay away, but he was unpopular. No one noted any change to his appearance. Section A was responsible with the morning program. Their theme was courage. Mr. Torres decided a common song for the duet that was not connected about courage. He wanted them to wear white. Because he liked white, he ignored all of their goals like a protest. The girls in the class wanted to change the song for the duet. Mr. Torres relented, but they would never forget about the look on his face and the sudden change of voice.
Sunday that they got the news Mr. Torres dead. It had came shockingly unexpected. He had been sick all of this time, but he kept it a secret. At the morning program, the president of Class A gave a speech. His tone was a broken voice. He spoke about how Mr. Torres was misunderstood and misjudged. Because of his difference to other teachers about inability to laugh and smile. The only thing that kept him from teaching is courage. It drove him to live each day through pain like nothing was wrong. Two girls sang like Mr. Torres' song, but could not finish it. The students in white were quiet as they proceeded to their classroom who had no one waiting for them. Did you guys like about the story?
Yes.
What did you feel after you heard of the story?
Sad.
Why?
Because he was sick.
How about you, Jacob?
Sad too.
Why did you feel sad?
Because I remember my teacher that is grumpy. How about you, Carl? What did you feel about the story?
I felt pity of Mr. Torres because he was in an unconditioned state and he was being misjudged and misunderstood. But I kind of idolize him that he has the courage to teach while he was sick. What about you, Ate?
I think the message of the story is to always be kind to other people, especially we do not have any idea what they are going through. Remember when Mr. Torres did not say anything about his condition or his health? His students judged him by being too grumpy. And if his students were just nice to him at the start, they wouldn't feel guilty at the end, right?
The main character of the story is Mr. Arsenio El Torres. He was an Ilocano and he was quiet and popular, no humor, never smiled, and has a cold heart. Because much of the students misunderstood and misjudged him, but in reality, he was a good person. Even no one recognized that he was suffering and fighting his disease. But despite this, he continued to teach. If I were Mr. Torres, I would rather be like him, because even though there are hard times in our life, like what's happening today, we have to conquer it in the best way we can.
If I were the main character, Mr. Torres, I would try my best to do the same. Because of him, I had courage to do things out of my comfort zone.
The part of the story that I like most is when Mr. Torres continued to teach, despite of the situation. His courage is the only thing that drove him to live each day through as if nothing was wrong.
My favorite part of the story was when the children dedicated the program to Mr. Torres. They even remembered his favorite color and his favorite song. That's the part when the readers would know the students' appreciation and love for Mr. Torres.
The best lessons that I learned is cherish the people around you that help you in your hard times. Continue to move forward even someone has perished along the way. To have courage to face all of the struggles that we will encounter in our daily life in the guidance of the people we truly love and the help of our Almighty God.
I learned from the story to be good to other people and to respect them even though they're not the way we thought they are. Also, Mr. Torres helped me realize to be a braver person, especially in tough times.
Always remember, reading not only has a tremendous power when it comes to fueling the development of all language aspects of ability, its importance to the entirety of human life.
Also, reading is important to have a broader perspective of things that would help us to have a more in-depth understanding of relevant issues and topics.
Once again, I'm John Carl D. Villar and this is my cousin,
Justin May de Guzman.
Next video presentation is from Audrey Rincoraya from Grade 8, Section 1.
Hello everyone, I'm Audrey Rose V. Rincoraya from Grade 8, Section 1, and I'm here with my brother.
My name is Audrey Rincoraya.
And my mom.
I'm Rosalie Rincoraya.
And today we're gonna tell you about the story of the aged mother.
Long ago in Shinano, there lived at the foot of the mountain a young farmer and his old mother. They belonged to a village governed by the despotic daimyo. He decreed that all the old people who are unbearably slow and feeble shall be executed. The young farmer, upon hearing the news, crept in the night and carried his old mother to Obatsuyama, where the aged are left to die. With a heavy heart, he trudged the narrow and steep mountain sides, passing through thick bushes and tall trees. While the sun was focused on getting to Obatsuyama, his mother reached for every twig they passed by to provide a trail. When they reached the top of the mountain, the sun made a soft cushion for his mother. It was then that his mother bade goodbye and told him to be safe and that he shall follow the trail she left for him. The son's heart was crushed as he was touched by his mother's kindness. He then carried his mother back to Shinano and hid her in the walled closet beneath the kitchen floor. Time passed as the son continually supplied her mother's needs without anyone suspecting. The daimyo, on the other hand, feeling confident about his power, ordered another decree commanding the citizens of Shinano to make a robe of ashes. The village is faced with a terrible dilemma. But the young farmer's mother came up with an idea. They must burn a long line of twisted straw on a windless night. The son told the villagers what to do, and with their success the daimyo was pleased. He was told that it was the young farmer's old mother's idea. From then on, the decree of executing the age was lifted.
Question number 1. Can you give at least one or two Filipino values which was portrayed in the story? Why did you say so?
For me, strong family ties, because the young farmer and his mother showed a great and strong bond for each other. Her mom showed to us that she will do everything just to protect her son. She will make sure that he is safe. Just like our parents, they make sure that we're okay, we're doing fine, and nothing bad happens to us. And us, as their son and their daughters, we also protect them and do everything just to keep them safe. Because that's what family is for. We're there to love, care, and support each other. Because if we are together to solve every problem, I'm really sure that we will have a bright future. How about you, Mommy?
Perseverance of the young farmer, the son of the aged mother, wherein he lifted his helpless mother to his back and started to his painful journey up to the mountain. And even if it is very hard for him, he didn't give up. He continued to persevere despite of all the difficulties they encountered.
And number 2, if you are in the main character's shoe, would you do the same? Why?
I would do the same because I love my parents. And not only that, they sacrifice a lot for me, so why wouldn't I? They've risked a lot just for me. And I'm willing to risk anything for them as well. And I promised myself to protect them no matter what happens, and that I will work hard to give them a good future, because I want to give back to them for everything that they've done for me. How about you, Mommy?
Yes, as a mother too, I will do the same. Unselfish love of the aged mother have is one of the greatest traits of a good mother. So, no matter what it takes, a mother will give all she has and do the best she can.
Question number 3. What lessons have you gained from the story?
The story of the aged mother taught us that family love is powerful. A mother's love is unconditional, and it is right and proper that we recognize and honor the sacrifice of a mother.
I've learned that no one can replace the love that we share with our family, and that if we work together, nothing is impossible. We are unbreakable, we are strongest among the rest, and that when someone tries to bring you down, you just gotta outsmart them.
Then we have the video presentation of Alex Magno from Grade 9, Section 1.
Rise and shine, I'm Rodelia Loren U. Magno, wife of a police officer and a mother of 2 kids.
Top of the morning to you, Alex U. Magno, Grade 9, Section 1, from Florentino Torres High School. Ever since I'm a toddler, reading became my pastime because it enriches our minds. Reading is an exceptional way to exercise the brain and expose it to more knowledge. Reading can really make you fall in love if you found a book that suits your taste.
It also provides an emotional pickup. We all have days when we feel like everything is going wrong, or someone hurt our feelings. When those unexpected days comes, reading a book can make our mind take out of those stress and help us to be motivated even more.
So accurate, Mommy. All of us are affected by the pandemic. So, every time we are sad or we are out of control by our emotions, books are just one call away. Dry up your tears, think more positive, read. And don't forget to thank Almighty God that we are still alive and breathing. Let us all tell you the summary of the short story entitled The Gift of Maggie.
The Gift of Maggie is a short story written and published in 1905. It takes place on Christmas Eve and tells the story of Jim and Delia Dillingham, a poor young married couple who don't have enough money to buy each other Christmas gifts.
Between the couple, Jim's gold pocket watch that once belonged to his father and his grandfather, and Delia's lustrous, long, and gorgeous hair that falls below her knees are the only two possessions that they consider as treasures.
And because of the absolute and true love of a couple for each other, they are willing to sacrifice the things that are so important and part of their life to make their partner happy.
This story tells us that this couple is willing to part with their most prized possessions to make each other happy, right? It's not just sacrifices. It's about always finding the perfect person to sacrifice anything for another person's happiness. It's consistent selflessness. When you are willing to compromise and make sacrifices for someone, that's where you feel true love.
Both Jim and Delia buy each other a gift that ultimately seems financially foolish. However, what they get is something they don't expect, a more untouchable gift that reminds and prompts them how much they endear each other and compliant to surrender anything and everything to make each other delighted and gratified. I finally understood what true love means. Love meant that you care for another person's happiness more than your own, no matter how painful the choices you face might be.
Words are powerful and simplest, most direct way to express gratitude to the person we may take for granted. If you can't do it in person, make a phone call and brighten someone's day.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed. The simple act of actively listening to your loved ones can be an effective way to show you value them. Put down your phone, remain attentive, and let them steer the conversation. Yes, I lovely do to sacrifice my most valuable things for the love of my life. Love is full of compromises and sacrifices. To sacrifice is give up something, such as valuable relationship. Sacrificing things with such sentimental value is such a hard decision, but I'd rather sacrifice for someone I love than to lose the one I love whose worth is sacrifices for me.
The greatest sacrifice is when you sacrifice your own happiness for the sake of someone else. Because if you truly care about someone, their happiness matters more than yours. I can express my love for my family by making them a little treat that would make them wear a smile, or buy a gift that would be appreciated. Your family genuinely loves you, your inner personality, and your character. So make them a little something that would surprise or make them happy.
Smile and be cheerful. Have the positive mental attitude and wear it proudly. This might help your family feel a little more loved by you than usual. Try to surround interested. Reading has at all times and in all ages been a source of knowledge, happiness, pleasure, and even moral courage. In today's world with so much more to know and learn, the importance of reading should increase. That's the thing about books. They let you travel without moving your feet.
A person who widely reads is able to mix with others. He can stand his grounds because reading broadens the vision. I'm Alex Magna, grade 9, first section, from Florentino Torres High School, and let us all remember that a room without books is like a body without a soul.
And last but not the least, the video presentation of Denise Pacate from grade 10 section 1.
I'm Denise A. Pacate from 10-1, and I'm the student, and this is my mother.
Good day, I am Army A. Pacate, the mother of Denise A. Pacate. I will be participating in this family reading activity.
I think the story is very good and has a very deep meaning, and it shows how impactful a teacher-student relationship can be. The story started with Miss Thompson describing a particular student she didn't like, which was Teddy Stollard. This happened 15 years ago in 5th grade. Teddy has always been slow and not the most intelligent or brightest student in her class, so he always gets left behind, and Miss Thompson didn't do anything about it. Now Christmas came, and everyone brought gifts for her, including Teddy. When it was time for her to open Teddy's gift, it was a bracelet with some beads missing on it and perfume that was half used. She can tell that it was already been used. When the Christmas party ended and everyone left, Teddy stayed. He approached Miss Thompson and said that the bracelet her mother used to wear looks good on her, and the perfume her mother used to use smells good on her. Miss Thompson felt bad for she disliked that student for unknown reasons. Starting from then on, Miss Thompson stayed late every afternoon with Teddy to focus more on him and to teach him the things that he needed to know to catch up with the rest of the class. When the school year ended, Teddy was one of the students with the highest grades, meaning that he didn't have to repeat 5th grade and that he would pass and proceed to the 6th grade. Years later, Teddy would move out and study in a different place. Teddy gave Miss Thompson a letter saying that he is graduating high school in 2nd. Years later, Miss Thompson received another letter from Teddy saying that he will be graduating in university in 1st. And years later, she received another letter from Teddy saying that he is about to finish his medical school and he is about to get married. Teddy is now inviting Miss Thompson to sit where his mother is supposed to sit if she was still alive.
Hi grade 10 representative, and hello to your family. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I know that you just had finished your family reading day in which you had read the story, The 3 Letters from Teddy. I wanted to know your thoughts about the story. I know that you have loved it, but we wanted to know more of it. So I will be asking 3 different questions to which any of your family members can answer. Are you ready? So here is my first question. Who are the characters in the story and what kind of relationship do they have?
The characters in the story are Teddy Stollard and Miss Thompson. They have a teacher-student relationship.
The second question is, which part of the story did you like the most? And why?
The part of the story that I like the most is when Miss Thompson was receiving letters from Teddy years later, even after he graduated, because I think this shows that Teddy was really grateful for the things that Miss Thompson did for him, and he really appreciates it. I really like it when he writes, "I wanted you to be the first to know." This shows how important Miss Thompson is for his life and how grateful he is that Miss Thompson taught him the things that he needed to know, and that he wouldn't be able to be in the position where he is in now if it wasn't for Miss Thompson helping him before. That's why I like this part.
And finally, question number 3. After reading the story, What are your realizations? And what do you think is its impact to your perspective in life?
I realize that teachers have a big impact in our lives and they play a huge part as well. They teach us the things that we need and they share their knowledge. I think without teachers, there would be nothing in this society. So we need to appreciate them more. And right now, we may not think that they have a huge impact, but years later, after finishing our studies, I think we will look back and remember our school life moments and remember that, oh, this teacher helped me a lot, and oh, this teacher really taught me the things that I need to know. The impact of the story in my perspective in life is that teachers are human beings too. They can make mistakes, just like Miss Thompson. First, she ignored the problems of Teddy and simply taught her brightest students. But she learned from that mistake and taught Teddy as well afterwards. I think that it affected of how I see teachers and of how I see lives, that we students usually see our sides, but we don't usually see the teacher's side and their struggles as well. So this impacted the way of thinking and the way I see teachers, that they are human beings, they can make mistakes and they're not perfect, but they can learn from the mistakes that they've done. So we should give them a bigger space, a bigger room to make mistakes, just as how much room they give us to make mistakes and to learn from it. Reading activities or reading in general like this can help strengthen a family's bond, because you get to share a story together with your family, you get to read it together, and at the end of the story, you get to share your insights with each other, and you get to share your opinions and how you like the story, and you also get to share the realizations you've made after reading the story. So I think that part really strengthens the bond, and you get to know more of each other and know more of how we view things differently or how we view things similarly with our family members.
That was really fun, isn't it? Now, to make this event more happier, may I present to you one of our grade 7 students, Zira Tish Sulit, to show us her talent in storytelling.
The Book of Salamat. Our story begins with two neighbors. Although they were poor, they took pride in their gardens. Their yards bloomed with different kinds of vegetables all year round. The first gardener would sell his harvest and keep the money all to himself, while his next-door neighbor would give away most of his vegetables and was happy when his friends would say, "Salamat!" "Fool!" his selfish neighbor told him one day. "You work so hard under the sun to grow your vegetables. If I were you, I'd sell them and build and keep the money. Look at me! I will be able to build a big house next year with my money." The generous gardener just smiled and continued working on his yard. He was actually having difficulty saving money for repairing his home for the rainy season. But he found this word of thanks more precious than money. "Salamat, salamat, salamat." He noted each line of thanks in a book every night. The greedy man soon earned enough money to build a large house made of stone and wood. He looked from his window his neighbor's tiny nipa hut. He heard about the good man's book and laughed. "Let's see that crazy old fool eat his book of Salamat," he said to himself. He then called out to his neighbor, "Hey there, friend, don't you wish you had a house as beautiful as mine?" He asked. "I've even hired a gardener to take care of my plants." "You have quite a big house," his humble neighbor answered, "but I'm happy enough here." Months passed and the rains came. he spotted his book of Salamat and had a bright idea. The next morning, Salamat! Salamat for sale! Who wants to buy my book of Salamat? The townsfolk saw the gardener selling his book and thought he had gone crazy. Yet, he went all around the village, offering his book of Salamat to any buyer. Word spread and reached the Sultan's palace. "What's that man selling?" The Sultan asked his guards. He had never heard of anyone selling such and thought that he might have heard wrong, that the gardener was selling salabat, ginger tea, or samat, betel leaf. "Bring him to me," His Majesty commanded, and the gardener was summoned.
Good.
"I'm selling a book of Salamat, Your Majesty," the man explained. He opened his book, and the Sultan saw the word Salamat written all over. The words were written in clear, fine, and honest handwriting. "This man is no fool," the Sultan said to himself. "How much do you want for this book, my good man?" the Sultan finally asked. "I shall sell my book for whatever it will weigh in gold," the gardener answered humbly. His Majesty then told his court attendants to bring forth his weighing scale. The Sultan placed a book on one scale and a piece of gold on the other. The book was heavier. He placed another piece of gold, but the book was still heavier. No matter how much gold the Sultan placed upon the scale, the book still weighed heavier. Until the Sultan brought out a bag of gold and said, "There, old man, take your money and leave me in peace." And the gardener happily left and was able to build himself a bigger house than his neighbors in several days' time. His neighbor got so jealous, he thought of a plan to get richer. After hearing about his neighbor's good fortune, he immediately bought out a thicker and heavier book and hurriedly filled it with the words.
Thank you for that entertaining and amazing presentation, Zira. Now, may I present to you Miss Marlene V.T. Bulan to present the certificates of presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Lau. This activity for the National Reading Day would not have been possible if not for the effort, cooperation, and excellent presentation of our participating students and the support of their family members. And so, to show them our gratitude, we would like to present to them the Certificate of Participation. Aside from the certificates, the participating students and their family members will each receive a free Globe SIM card. In addition, whoever among the 4 participating students gets chosen as the best presenter will receive 300 pesos worth of load. The remaining participants will each receive 150 pesos worth of load as consolation prize. The winner will be announced during the closing program of the English month. To all our student participants and their families, we hope that this experience inspired you to view reading as an effective way to keep your family bond tighter and stronger. Thank you and good day.
Thank you, Ma'am Tibulan. We are almost at the finish line of this event, so may I present to you Miss Kathleen D. and Iban to finally conclude the activity.
Good day, Teresians. The new normal phase of learning taught us a lot of things that are new to us. But we can't deny that some of these things made us stronger this time. Reading became a vehicle for most of us to overcome the effect of the tormenting COVID scenario. It bridged the gap between what is hoax and what is real. Furthermore, it made relationships stronger with the help of time. This activity is a learning journey and a form of sweet escape from the current pandemic situation. This is just one of the many episodes that the students and the teachers have to take in pursuit of learning. At the end of each day, we can always say that we are stronger and more learned than yesterday. We should take each challenge as a learning gateway that will make us survive all sorts of tribulation.
Before we officially end this event, I want to thank everyone who joined us today. We hope that you will put into practice the lesson from this event. Now, may I call on Miss Lisa Hassel for the closing prayer. Goodbye and God bless everyone.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Lord and Teacher, bless everyone who belongs in Valentino Torres High School as we seek to end our program with the grace you so generously provide. We give thanks for the students, their family, the faculty members, our administrative leaders, and all who have contributed to this activity of nurturing and growth. We affirm all the positive moments of insight, of the excitement of learning, of accomplishment, of creativity, of laughter, of a sense of community. We recognize the times of struggle, of difficult work, of misunderstanding, even of failure. We give this to you for transformation, so they can become seeds that will find fertile soil. As we head into a new day, may we take with us the knowledge that you will keep us all in your embrace, so we may rest and be restored, and so we can continue in the ongoing discovery of your love. This we pray in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.